Looks like somebody's driving way above their pay grade. Let's see what kind of story this one's gonna tell me. Officer Garrett Hendricks smirks as he watches the black Mercedes ahead. Route 24, Fayetteville, North Carolina. 2 miles from Fort Bragg Military Base. 4:43 on a Thursday afternoon. Late sun slants through the trees. The driver is black. The car is expensive. $70,000 at least. He hits his lights. The Mercedes pulls over immediately. Hendricks approaches slowly, hand resting on his holster. He makes an exaggerated circular motion with his finger. Roll down the window. The gesture drips with condescension. The door swings open instead. A black woman steps out. Full Army combat uniform. Polished boots. Silver eagles gleaming on her chest. Colonel rank. Combat patches on both shoulders. Rows of ribbons including Bronze Star and Purple Heart. Hendricks freezes. Just for a second. Then his jaw tightens. Ma'am, whose car is this really? He'd just destroyed his own life. 5 hours earlier, the alarm clock reads 6 in the morning. Fiona Nelson's hands move with practiced precision, pressing crisp creases into her Army combat uniform. The iron hisses against fabric. Steam rises in small clouds. She's 42 years old, 20 years of military service, 2 tours in Iraq, 1 in Afghanistan. The photographs on her bedroom wall tell the story in frozen moments. Fiona in desert fatigues, sand swirling behind a Humvee. Fiona shaking hands with a 3-star general. Fiona kneeling beside Iraqi children, handing out school supplies. Her husband James, a Navy commander, left for Norfolk 3 days ago. Their son just finished his first year at West Point. Their daughter practices for the school play every afternoon this week. The house feels quiet without them, but Fiona likes the morning stillness. She fastens her name tape. Nelson. Black letters on tan background. Then the unit patches on both shoulders. Her fingers find the silver eagles next. Colonel rank, 06. She polishes them until they catch the lamplight, throwing tiny reflections across the ceiling. The Bronze Star ribbon sits third from the top, Purple Heart beside it. She earned these. Every single one. Blood and sweat and 19-hour days in 100-degree heat while mortars screamed overhead. Fort Bragg headquarters demands full uniform for classified briefings. Security protocol. No exceptions. The meeting today involves Joint Chiefs representatives. Intelligence briefing. Highly sensitive. She's been preparing for 2 weeks. Fiona slides her military ID into her wallet. The holographic eagle shimmers. Her security clearance level is printed in small letters. Top secret SCI. 20 years to earn that clearance. 20 years of proving herself again and again. She grabs her briefcase. Leather, professional, covered in top secret stamps. Documents inside could change military operations across 3 continents. The weight feels substantial in her hand. Her Mercedes waits in the driveway. Black, polished, 7 years old but maintained perfectly. She saved for 3 years to buy it. Paid cash. Every dollar earned through deployment bonuses and careful budgeting. The leather interior still smells new. She runs her hand across the steering wheel before starting the engine. The drive to base takes 12 minutes. Gate guards salute as she shows her ID. She parks in the visitor lot outside headquarters. A brigadier general holds the door for her. "Morning, Colonel Nelson." His voice carries respect. "Morning, sir." The briefing lasts 4 hours. Maps spread across tables. Satellite images flicker on screens. Fiona presents logistics analysis for 3 proposed operations. The generals ask sharp questions. She answers each one without hesitation. Data, facts, projections. She knows her material cold. "Excellent work, Colonel." The 3-star shakes her hand. "See you Monday." "Thank you, sir." She walks back to her car at 4:38. The afternoon sun hangs low, casting long shadows across the parking lot. She was supposed to leave by 3. The meeting ran long. Her daughter's rehearsal starts at 5. She might still make it if traffic cooperates. Fiona doesn't bother changing out of uniform. She'll go straight to the school. Most military families understand. Seeing a soldier in uniform is normal around Fayetteville. The town lives and breathes Fort Bragg. Half the restaurants offer military discounts. Veterans work at every store. Children grow up recognizing rank insignia before they learn multiplication tables. She merges onto Route 24 at 4:41. Traffic is light, mostly other military personnel heading home after long duty days. A staff sergeant drives past in a pickup truck. A young private rides a motorcycle, combat boots visible above the foot pegs. Two captains sit in a sedan, still wearing their patrol caps. Fiona keeps her speed exactly at 45. Cruise control engaged. Her hands rest at 10 and 2 on the steering wheel. She learned to drive in Germany 20 years ago, fresh out of officer training. Some habits never fade. The radio plays softly. NPR, a story about education reform. She's only half listening. Her mind reviews the briefing. 3 operations, 16 logistics chains, 42 supply requisitions. Everything has to align perfectly or soldiers go without equipment, without food, without ammunition. She doesn't see the police cruiser until its lights flash in her rearview mirror. Fiona's first thought is confusion. She checks her speedometer. 45 exactly. She hasn't crossed any lines, hasn't run any signs. Her registration is current, insurance paid, inspection sticker valid. She signals and pulls onto the shoulder. Gravel crunches under her tires. She puts the car in park, turns off the engine and places both hands on the steering wheel where they're visible. 20 years of military discipline. Follow procedures. Stay calm. Be respectful. The officer takes his time approaching. Officer Garrett Hendricks walks slowly toward the Mercedes. Deliberately slow. He adjusts his gun belt. His hand lingers near his holster. His partner Kyle Brennan follows 3 steps behind, looking uncomfortable. Hendricks reaches the driver's door. He makes that circular motion with his finger. Roll down the window. His face shows exactly what he thinks of this situation. Contempt. Suspicion. Prejudgment wrapped in a badge. But Fiona doesn't roll down the window. She opens the door instead. Steps out into the afternoon sun. Her boots hit the pavement with a solid sound. Polished black leather, spit-shined to mirror finish. The ACU pattern catches the light. Digital camouflage in tan and brown. Her uniform is spotless, perfectly pressed. Name tape clearly visible across her chest. Silver eagles on her collar flash in the sun. Colonel rank, the highest rank Hendricks has probably ever seen up close. Combat patches cover both shoulders. The unit insignia from Fort Bragg Intelligence Division on her left. Deployment patch from Operation Iraqi Freedom on her right. Below that, a combat action badge. She's been in firefights, taken enemy fire, returned it. Ribbons spread across her chest in neat rows. Bronze Star with Valor Device, Purple Heart, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Army Commendation Medal with 3 oak leaf clusters. The ribbons tell a story of 20 years of exemplary service. Hendricks freezes, actually stops walking for a moment. His eyes go wide. He's staring at a full colonel in combat uniform standing beside a Mercedes-Benz on a public road. This should end right here. This should be over. An apology, a quick explanation, maybe even a salute if he had any professionalism at all. But 3 seconds later, his face changes. The shock disappears. Something else takes its place. Disbelief, suspicion, something darker. He looks at Fiona, then at the car, then back at Fiona. The equation doesn't compute in his mind. Black woman plus expensive car plus colonel rank equals does not compute. Ma'am. His voice drips with false politeness. License and registration. Fiona stands at parade rest automatically, hands clasped behind her back, shoulders square, military bearing that 20 years drilled into muscle memory. Good afternoon, officer. Colonel Fiona Nelson, United States Army. May I ask the reason for this stop? Her voice is calm, respectful, professional. Everything a senior military officer should sound like. clear and authoritative without being aggressive. Hendricks doesn't acknowledge her rank, doesn't call her colonel, just keeps staring with that look on his face. You were swerving. Suspicious driving. Officer, I've driven this route daily for 3 years. I did not swerve. My vehicle has GPS and dash camera that will confirm I was driving legally. Fiona's tone doesn't change. Still calm, still factual. But there's steel underneath now. She knows her rights. She knows the law. And she knows exactly what's happening here. Just get me your documentation. Hendricks holds out his hand impatiently. Behind him, Brennan shifts his weight. Garrett, she's a colonel. Maybe we should... I can read, Kyle. Hendricks cuts him off without looking back. Fiona retrieves her wallet from the car. Military ID, driver's license, registration, insurance. Everything in perfect order like always. She hands them to Hendricks without comment. He holds the military ID up to the light, squints at it like he's examining a counterfeit bill. The holographic eagle shimmers. Her photo stares back at him. Colonel. Fiona Nelson. Service number. Security clearance level. This says you're a colonel? The question hangs in the air. The implication is crystal clear. He doesn't believe it's real. That's correct, officer, as you can see from my uniform. Fiona gestures to the silver eagles on her chest, right there, impossible to miss, shining in direct sunlight. Uh-huh. Hendricks makes a sound in his throat. And how does a colonel afford a car like this? There it is. The real question. The one he wanted to ask from the beginning. How does someone like you afford something like this? Fiona's jaw tightens slightly. Just slightly. The only visible sign that his words hit their mark. I've served 20 years in the United States Army, Officer Hendricks. She reads his name tag deliberately, letting him know she's paying attention. I'm a combat veteran. This vehicle was purchased with my earnings and savings. Each word is measured, controlled, but anyone listening carefully can hear the edge now, the slight emphasis on certain words. Purchased. Earnings. Savings. Hendricks snorts. Actually snorts like she just told a joke. He walks back to his cruiser with her documents. Traffic is starting to slow down now. Other drivers notice the stop. A police car, a nice Mercedes, a black woman standing on the roadside. Some people just drive past. Others slow down to look. One car pulls over completely, driver watching. Hendricks runs her license through his computer. Brennan leans over to see the screen. Garrett, it's legit. Brennan's voice is quiet but urgent. She's really a colonel. Bronze Star, Purple Heart. Her record is spotless, man. We should let her go. The computer screen shows everything. Colonel Fiona Nelson, active duty, 20 years service, no warrants, no violations. Military clearance, top secret SCI. Hendricks stares at the screen. His jaw works. Something is happening behind his eyes. Some calculation, some decision point. He picks up his radio. Dispatch, this is 402. I got a suspicious vehicle, expensive car. Gonna check it out further. The dispatcher's voice crackles back. Copy that, 402. Is the driver military? Long pause. Too long. Hendricks looks at the computer screen showing Fiona's military status in bold letters. Claims to be. Brennan actually puts his hand on Hendricks's arm. Dude, what are you doing? Her record is right there. She's a decorated officer. This is gonna go bad if you... Hendricks shakes him off. Something's not right. That car costs way more than a colonel makes. I'm investigating. He exits the cruiser, walks back to Fiona. She's still standing beside her car, parade rest, patient, waiting. She knows how this works. Stay calm. Follow procedure. Let the system work, except the system isn't working. Ma'am, I need you to step to the back of the vehicle. Officer Hendricks, I've provided all requested documentation. What is the probable cause for this stop? I'm conducting an investigation.
Say.
Of what crime? Fiona's voice is still controlled, but the steel is showing through now. She's a senior military officer being hassled on a public road for no legal reason. She knows it. He knows it. Everyone watching knows it. Don't get smart with me. Hendricks steps closer, invading her space, using his physical presence as intimidation. Fiona doesn't step back, doesn't flinch. Military training keeps her rooted. She's faced down insurgents with AK-47s. She's commanded combat operations under mortar fire. She's not going to be intimidated by a small-town cop with a superiority complex. But her heart is starting to pound. Because she recognizes this moment. She's heard the stories, read the news reports, watched the videos. She knows exactly where this can go, how fast it can escalate, how badly it can end. Ma'am. Hendricks's voice drops lower, more threatening. I smell marijuana coming from your vehicle. The lie hangs in the air like smoke, blatant, obvious, impossible. Fiona takes a slow breath. That is demonstrably false, officer. I'm a senior military officer subject to random drug testing. I've never used illegal substances in my life. That's a matter of military record. Well, I'm telling you what I smell, so I'm going to search your vehicle. Step away. You do not have probable cause. I do not consent to a search. I don't need your consent. Hendricks moves past her, opens her driver's door, starts going through the interior. Glove compartment, center console, under the seats. He's rough about it, deliberate. Papers scatter. A charging cable hits the ground. Sunglasses fall into the dirt. More cars are stopping now. 5 vehicles pulled over. People standing on the shoulder. Several have phones out, pointed at the scene, recording. A woman in a pickup truck yells, "Leave her alone! She's not doing anything!" Hendricks ignores her. He pulls out Fiona's briefcase. The top secret stamps are clearly visible on the leather cover. Bold red letters. Official government property. Fiona steps forward. Officer, that contains classified materials. You cannot... I'll decide what I can and can't do. He throws the briefcase onto the hood of the car. It lands with a heavy thud. The lock strains but holds. Inside that briefcase are documents that could affect military operations across 3 continents. Intelligence assessments, troop movements, operational plans. This just became a federal security incident. Fiona's hands clench into fists at her sides. Every instinct screams at her to intervene, to stop him. But she knows what happens to black people who resist, who threaten officers, who make any sudden movements. So she stands there, in her uniform, with her rank clearly visible, with her 20 years of service decorating her chest, while a police officer violates her constitutional rights on camera. Officer, you are violating my Fourth Amendment rights. This is an illegal search. I am documenting your badge number and name for a formal complaint. Hendricks spins on her, gets in her face. You want to file a complaint? How about I arrest you right now for obstruction? His hand goes to his handcuffs. The threat is explicit now, clear, unmistakable. They stand face to face, a decorated combat veteran in uniform, a police officer who sees only the color of her skin and the expense of her car. The cameras keep recording. Another police cruiser pulls up, lights flashing. Sergeant Tom Mitchell steps out, hand resting casually on his belt. He surveys the scene. Uniformed colonel, scattered papers, crowd with phones. This should set off every alarm bell in his head. What have we got, Hendricks? Suspicious vehicle, uncooperative driver, possible fraudulent ID. Fraudulent ID. The words hit like a slap. Fiona's spine stiffens. Fraudulent ID? Sergeant, I am Colonel Fiona Nelson, United States Army Intelligence. This officer has conducted an illegal stop and search. My identification is genuine, as any call to Fort Bragg will confirm. Mitchell walks closer, studies her uniform with exaggerated care. His eyes linger on the silver eagles, then the ribbons, then her face. The implication in his expression is clear. This doesn't add up. Something's wrong here. That's a pretty high rank for someone so young. Fiona feels something cold settle in her stomach. He's not going to help. He's going to make this worse. I'm 42 years old, Sergeant. I've served 20 years, including 2 combat deployments to Iraq and 1 to Afghanistan. Every ribbon you see was earned. Every rank was promoted through merit. Mitchell circles her slowly, like he's examining evidence. Those ribbons real? Bronze Star? Purple Heart? People fake these all the time, you know. The accusation of stolen valor hits harder than anything else so far. Stolen valor. Pretending to be a veteran. Wearing ribbons you didn't earn. It's a federal crime, and it's a devastating insult to anyone who actually served. Sergeant Mitchell, Officer Hendricks, you are both making career-ending mistakes right now. I suggest you contact Fort Bragg Provost Marshal immediately. Brigadier General William Graham. He's expecting my report from today's briefing. Oh, we'll be contacting someone, all right? Mitchell's tone is mocking, dismissive. Hendricks steps forward again. Ma'am, place your hands on the vehicle. I need to pat you down. For what purpose? You have no probable cause. To ensure you're not carrying weapons. I'm a military officer, Officer Hendricks. Of course I'm trained in weapons, but I'm not carrying any at this moment, and this pat-down constitutes assault without legal justification. Hendricks doesn't respond, just grabs her shoulder and spins her toward the car, forces her hands onto the hood. The metal is hot from the sun, burns against her palms. His hands are rough, aggressive. The pat-down is unnecessarily invasive. He pushes her shoulders harder against the car. Her cheek nearly touches the hood. Traffic is completely backed up now. At least 15 cars have stopped. The crowd has grown. People stand on the grass shoulder, watching in stunned silence. Several are in uniform themselves. Active-duty military witnessing a colonel being manhandled by local police. One of them is Master Sergeant Devin Anderson. He served under Fiona for 3 years. Knows her reputation. Knows her command style. She's one of the toughest, fairest officers on base. Never asks her soldiers to do anything she wouldn't do herself. Never plays favorites. Earns respect the hard way. He gets out of his truck. Colonel Nelson? Ma'am? Hendricks whips around. Get back in your vehicle. This doesn't concern you. That's my commanding officer. This absolutely concerns me. Anderson pulls out his phone. Dials a number. Fort Bragg direct line. Another car pulls over. An older man in civilian clothes steps out. Gray hair, ramrod posture, military bearing obvious, despite the polo shirt and khakis. Officers, I'm retired Brigadier General Thomas Bradford. What is happening here? Hendricks is starting to look rattled now. Sir, you need to move along. Police business. That woman is wearing the uniform of a United States Army colonel. She has combat patches and valor awards. Why is she being detained? General Bradford's voice carries command authority, the kind that comes from 30 years of ordering people around and having them snap to attention. He's not asking nicely. He's demanding answers. This doesn't concern you, sir. I'm making it my concern. Colonel, are you all right? Fiona turns her head, recognizes Bradford from command meetings. He retired 2 years ago but still lives in the area, still maintains connections on base. General Bradford, sir, these officers have conducted an illegal stop, search, and are now detaining me without probable cause. Bradford's face darkens. Son, do you have any idea what you're doing? That woman outranks half the officers on Fort Bragg. She has security clearance that lets her brief Joint Chiefs, and you're treating her like a criminal on the side of the road? I understand I'm doing my job, sir. The disrespect in Hendricks' voice is palpable. He doesn't care who Bradford used to be, doesn't care about rank or protocol or the growing disaster unfolding around him. Mitchell moves closer to Fiona. Ma'am, you need to understand. We get people impersonating military all the time. Stolen uniforms, fake IDs. We have to verify. Then verify, Sergeant. Call Fort Bragg. Call the Provost Marshal. Call anyone with authority to confirm my identity. My credentials are genuine. This harassment is not. Hendricks makes his decision. The worst decision of his life. That's it. Ma'am, you're under arrest for obstruction of justice and suspicion of stolen valor. The crowd gasps. Actual gasps. People can't believe what they're hearing. This is unlawful arrest. I am ordering you to stand down, officer. You're not ordering me to do anything. Hendricks pulls out his handcuffs. The metal glints in the sun. He reaches for Fiona's arm. She doesn't resist physically. Knows that any resistance will be used against her. Knows that black people get shot for less. But she speaks loudly, clearly, making sure every phone camera picks up her words. I am Colonel Fiona Nelson, United States Army, serial number November, Quebec 486321, currently assigned to Fort Bragg Intelligence Division. I am returning from a classified briefing with Joint Chiefs representatives. This detention violates military code, federal law, and my constitutional rights. Her voice carries across the road. 20 years of command projection. She could address a battalion formation with that voice. Now she's using it to document her own illegal arrest. Anderson is talking rapidly into his phone. Yes, this is Master Sergeant Anderson. I'm on Route 24. Local police have detained Colonel Nelson. They're attempting to arrest her. She's in full uniform. This is urgent. We need MPs here now. General Bradford steps closer. Officer, I'm warning you. I witnessed this entire interaction. I will testify to everything I've seen. You've made accusations without basis. You've conducted an illegal search. You're now attempting to arrest a senior military officer on trumped-up charges. Stop right now before this gets worse. Hendricks ignores him, grabs Fiona's wrist, twists it behind her back. She doesn't resist, but states clearly for the record, for the cameras, for everyone watching. You are assaulting a federal officer. Shut up. Just shut up. His voice cracks, desperation creeping in. He knows this is wrong, but his pride won't let him back down. He's committed now, can't show weakness in front of all these people. Can't admit he made a mistake. The first handcuff clicks onto her wrist. The metal is cold, too tight. It bites into her skin. The crowd erupts, shouts of protest. One woman is crying. A man in army uniform steps forward, but his friend pulls him back, whispering urgently. Getting involved could end his career, too. Brennan grabs Hendricks' arm. Garrett, man, stop, please. This is going to destroy you. Her record is clean. She's really a colonel. Let her go and we can fix this. Get off me, Kyle! Hendricks raises his hand to snap on the second cuff. 3 things happen at once. A military police Humvee screams around the corner, lights flashing. Different pattern than civilian police. Military emergency response. Hendricks' radio explodes with traffic. 402, stand down immediately. This is Lieutenant Barnes. Abort your arrest and step back from that vehicle right now. A police supervisor's car arrives, tires screeching. Lieutenant Barnes practically falls out of the door. His face is pale, panicked. Hendricks freezes. One handcuff on, one still in his hand. Fiona standing there with her arm twisted behind her back. Surrounded by witnesses, cameras, military personnel, a retired general, and now his own supervisor arriving in a panic. The moment stretches. Everything hangs in balance. Then the military police Humvee doors burst open. MP Captain Sarah Cooper jumps out in full combat uniform, sidearm on her hip, 2 other MPs behind her. She takes 3 steps and snaps to attention, renders a sharp salute. Colonel Nelson, ma'am! The salute changes everything. Officially, publicly, undeniably. That salute is military acknowledgement of rank, authority, status, You don't salute fake colonels. You don't salute stolen valor. You salute real officers who earned their rank. Hendrix's face goes white, actually loses all color. His hand holding the second cuff trembles. He just handcuffed a real colonel. In front of MPs, in front of a general, on camera. His career is over, and he knows it. Captain Cooper's voice cuts through the chaos like a blade. Remove those handcuffs, now. Hendrix stammers. That is a direct order from military authority. Remove those handcuffs or I will remove them myself. His hands shake as he fumbles with the key. The cuff springs open. Fiona pulls her wrist free. A red mark circles her skin. Visible. Obvious. Evidence. She stands to full height. Adjusts her uniform with precise movements. Every gesture controlled. Professional. The military bearing that never left, just waited. The power has completely shifted. Everyone can feel it. The air itself seems different. Captain Cooper holds up her phone. I have Brigadier General William Graham, Provost Marshal, on the line. He wants to speak with whoever is in charge here. Lieutenant Barnes takes the phone with trembling fingers. He activates speakerphone so everyone can hear. This is Brigadier General Graham. To whom am I speaking? Lieutenant Barnes, Fayetteville Police Department, sir. Lieutenant, do you currently have Colonel Fiona Nelson in your custody? Barnes looks at Fiona, at the red mark on her wrist, at her uniform still perfectly pressed despite everything, at the scattered briefcase with top secret stamps. Sir, there's been a situation. A situation. The general's voice could strip paint off walls. Colonel Nelson left my office 35 minutes ago after briefing Joint Chiefs representatives on classified intelligence operations. She is one of the finest officers under my command. If any harm has come to her, there will be federal consequences. Is she safe? Every word is enunciated clearly, distinctly. The threat isn't subtle. Sir, she appears unharmed, but put Colonel Nelson on the phone immediately. Fiona takes the phone. Her hand is steady. Her voice remains professional. General Graham, sir. Colonel Nelson reporting. Report your status, Colonel. Sir, I was pulled over without probable cause, subjected to illegal search, accused of stolen valor, physically detained, and handcuffed. My briefcase containing classified materials was searched. I have multiple witnesses and video documentation. A long pause. Then, God damn it. Are you physically injured? Minor bruising, sir. Nothing serious. Captain Cooper has orders to escort you to base. I want you in my office in 30 minutes for debrief. Those officers are not to leave the scene. Federal investigators are already en route. General Bradford steps forward. General Graham, this is retired Brigadier General Thomas Bradford. I witnessed the entire incident from arrival of backup units. I'm prepared to provide testimony. Thank you, General Bradford. Please coordinate with Captain Cooper. Another pause. And Lieutenant Barnes, you're going to want to call your chief, right now. This is going to get very loud, very fast. The line goes dead. Captain Cooper and her MPs move with military efficiency. Body cam footage from both police officers requested and preserved on scene. Dash cam impounded as federal evidence. Civilian phones collected for uploading to encrypted military servers. Witness statements taken systematically. 7 civilians with video footage. Master Sergeant Anderson with his phone call recording. General Bradford with his eyewitness account. 5 other soldiers in uniform who stopped to watch. 8 total civilian witnesses. GPS data from Fiona's Mercedes proves she never swerved. Her dash cam recorded the entire conversation from inside the car. Audio crystal clear. Every word, every accusation, every illegal action. Lieutenant Barnes stares at Hendrix like he's seeing him for the first time. Tell me you didn't just handcuff a colonel. Hendrix can't speak. Just stands there with his mouth open. Barnes looks closer at Fiona's uniform. Really looks this time. Bronze star, with Valor device. Means she did something heroic under fire. Purple Heart. Means she was wounded in combat. Combat Action Badge. Means she engaged enemy forces directly. 20 years of service stripes on her sleeve. Oh my God! Oh my God! Master Sergeant Anderson approaches Barnes. Lieutenant, I'm Master Sergeant Anderson. I serve in Colonel Nelson's division. She's Deputy Commander of Intelligence Operations. She briefed Pentagon officials this afternoon. This is catastrophically bad for your department. Barnes turns to Hendricks. His voice is barely controlled. Badge and gun, right now. Lieutenant, I can explain. Badge and gun now. Hendricks removes his badge with shaking fingers. Sets his weapon on the hood of his cruiser. Mitchell does the same without being asked. Brennan follows, head down, unable to meet anyone's eyes. I tried to tell him, Brennan says quietly. I said she was really a colonel. I told him to stop. Fiona turns to him. Her voice is cold as winter. You tried? You stood there and watched. You participated. You're complicit. Brennan has no response. What can he say? She's right. Mitchell attempts an apology. Ma'am, Colonel, I apologize. I didn't mean to suggest. You accused me of stolen valor, Sergeant. You implied my uniform and ribbons were fraudulent. You participated in an illegal search and detention of a federal officer. I was backing up my officer, General Bradford interrupts. You were violating a senior officer's civil rights. There's a difference. The scene has completely reversed. Fiona stands in the center, surrounded by MPs, soldiers, and a general, her uniform still immaculate, dignity intact, despite everything. 3 disgraced officers cluster together near their cruisers, badges gone, weapons confiscated, careers ending in real time. The cameras captured everything. The truth is documented, undeniable, public. Fiona speaks one final time, loudly, clearly, for every camera, every witness, every person who will see this video later. My name is Colonel Fiona Nelson. I've served this country for 20 years. I've been wounded in combat defending the freedoms we all share. And today, 2 miles from my base, I was profiled, illegally detained, and assaulted while in uniform because of the color of my skin. She pauses, looks directly at Hendricks. You saw my rank. You saw my ribbons. You saw everything that proved who I am. And you didn't care. You saw a black woman in an expensive car and decided she couldn't have earned it. Another pause. Let it sink in. That assumption just ended your career. Lieutenant Barnes approaches Fiona with his hands slightly raised, palms out, body language screaming apology. Colonel, on behalf of the Fayetteville Police Department, I offer my deepest apologies for... Fiona holds up one hand. Stops him mid-sentence. Save it, Lieutenant. Apologies without systemic change are meaningless. I've heard apologies before, from other departments, other cities, other officers who got caught. Barnes nods slowly, takes the rebuke. Understood, ma'am. He turns to the 3 officers. Hendricks, Mitchell, Brennan, you're all suspended immediately pending investigation. Badge and gun already collected. You're to leave this scene and report to the station. Do not speak to anyone. Do not leave town. Federal investigators will want statements. Hendricks tries one last defense, voice breaking. Lieutenant, I was doing my job. The car was expensive. I thought there might be... You thought what? Barnes cuts him off. That a black woman couldn't afford it? That her uniform was fake? That her rank meant nothing? She could have just said she was a colonel right away. General Bradford steps forward, face red with anger. She was wearing a colonel's uniform. Her rank was on her chest. Silver eagles in broad daylight. Fiona's voice stays level. I shouldn't have to announce my rank to receive basic constitutional rights, Officer Hendricks. Every citizen deserves due process, respect, legal treatment, regardless of rank or race or economic status. Hendricks collapses emotionally. Tears stream down his face, ugly crying, desperate. I have a family. 15 years on the force. 2 kids in college. I didn't mean... I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I have a family too. Fiona's voice could cut glass. My son attends West Point. My daughter's in high school. What do I tell them about this? That their mother was handcuffed while wearing her uniform? That 20 years of service meant nothing to you? I'm sorry. You're sorry you got caught. You're sorry there were cameras. You're sorry a general showed up. But you're not sorry for what you actually did. 2 black SUVs arrive. Federal plates. 4 agents in dark suits emerge. FBI credentials flash. Special Agent Williams, Special Agent Morrison, FBI Civil Rights Division. The lead agent is a black woman. Her partner is white. They survey the scene with practiced eyes. Colonel Nelson, we'll need your statement. Of course. I want full prosecution under federal civil rights statutes. Agent Morrison approaches Hendricks, reads from a card. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Hendricks' eyes go wide. What? You're arresting me? Violation of civil rights under color of law. Title 18. United States Code, Section 242. Federal charges. The handcuffs click onto Hendricks' wrists. The same cuffs he used on Fiona. Poetic justice playing out on the roadside. Agent Williams explains the charges. Deprivation of rights under color of law carries up to 10 years. With bodily harm component, possibly life imprisonment. State charges will include assault, illegal search, false imprisonment. Military charges for interference with classified operations. You're looking at 15 to 20 years combined sentences. The federal agents work methodically. Body cam footage downloaded and encrypted. Civilian videos collected. Witness statements recorded. Photographs of Fiona's wrist bruising. Photographs of scattered briefcase. GPS data subpoenaed. Radio transmissions pulled from dispatch. Every piece of evidence secured. Protected. Documented. Mitchell and Brennan receive their charges. Mitchell faces 5 to 8 years for active participation. Brennan faces 2 to 3 for failure to intervene, both permanently banned from law enforcement nationwide. News vans arrive. 3 local stations. National networks already alerted via social media. Helicopters circle overhead. Reporters swarm the scene perimeter. Captain Cooper shields Fiona from the press. Colonel Nelson will make a statement after consulting with military legal counsel. But the cameras capture everything anyway. Uniformed colonel with handcuff marks. 3 disgraced officers in custody. Federal agents everywhere. Military police securing evidence. The visual tells the story without words. Lieutenant Barnes is on his phone with the chief. Face pale, voice strained. Yes, sir, full colonel. Combat veteran. Bronze Star, Purple Heart. Yes, sir, handcuffed her. FBI arrested Hendricks on scene. Yes, sir, it's already on the news. He pauses, listens, grows even paler. I understand, sir. Emergency press conference. Yes, sir. Captain Cooper approaches Fiona. Ma'am, General Graham requests your presence at headquarters. Understood, Captain. Fiona collects her belongings. MPs secure her classified briefcase. She adjusts her uniform one final time. Every crease perfect, every patch aligned. 20 years of discipline showing through. She looks at Hendricks sitting in the FBI vehicle, head in his hands, handcuffed, career destroyed, life ruined. She feels no satisfaction, just sadness that it came to this, that it required federal charges and public humiliation for justice to happen, that her uniform and rank weren't enough, that her skin color mattered more than her service. The MP Humvee escort arrives. Fiona climbs in. Military convoy forms around her Mercedes. They drive toward Fort Bragg, leaving the disaster behind. On the roadside, Lieutenant Barnes stands alone amid the chaos, watching his department's reputation crumble, knowing the lawsuits will cost millions, knowing the reforms will be mandatory, knowing nothing will ever be the same. His phone rings. The mayor. 24 hours later, the story dominates every news cycle. CNN runs it as breaking news with live updates. MSNBC dedicates a full-hour special. Fox News covers the military angle. Local stations run nothing else. The video clips go viral instantly. 25 million views in the first day, 30 million by day 2. The hashtag trends worldwide. #Colonel Nelson, #driving while black, #justice for Fiona. Every frame is damning. Fiona stepping out in full uniform. Hendricks seeing her rank and proceeding anyway. The illegal search. The classified briefcase thrown on the hood. The handcuffs clicking shut. His face as he realizes his mistake too late. The body cam footage gets released after 48 hours of public pressure. The department can't hide it. Won't hide it. The video is crystal clear. 4K quality. Every word audible. How does someone like you afford a car like this? The emphasis on someone like you is unmistakable, undeniable, racist intent in high definition. Fort Bragg holds a press conference. Brigadier General William Graham stands at the podium in full dress uniform. His face is carved from stone. Behind him, a slideshow displays Fiona's service record. Fiona in Iraq, 2008. Desert fatigues. Dust on her face. Leading a convoy through hostile territory. Fiona receiving her Bronze Star, 2010. Pride evident despite the formal military bearing. Fiona with Iraqi civilians, 2009. Handing out supplies to children. Smiling despite the 100-degree heat and ever-present danger. Colonel Fiona Nelson is one of the finest officers I've ever served with. Graham's voice carries absolute conviction. What happened to her is unconscionable. She briefed Joint Chiefs representatives hours before this incident. Her uniform, her rank, her 2 decades of exemplary service, none of it mattered to those officers. He pauses. Lets the weight settle. The United States Army stands with Colonel Nelson. We are cooperating fully with federal investigators, and we expect full prosecution to the maximum extent of the law. The NAACP organizes a press conference in Fayetteville 3 days later. 22 other black residents step forward. Each one describes similar encounters with Officer Hendricks over 15 years. A teacher, crying as she speaks. 2019. He pulled me over. Same stretch of road. Said my car was too nice for a teacher. Searched everything. Accused me of drug dealing. Nobody believed me when I complained. A businessman in a suit. He stopped me 6 times in 2 years. Same car, same route to work. Always suspicious activity. I filed 3 complaints. Nothing happened. Union protected him. The local pastor grips the podium. Our community has been telling authorities about Hendricks for years. Years. 43 complaints. But it took a colonel with video evidence for anyone to listen. What about everyone else? What about the people without rank, without cameras, without resources to fight back? The internal affairs investigation reveals everything. Hendricks' complete file laid bare. 43 complaints over 15 years. 39 from people of color. 4 from white drivers. 0 sustained complaints. 0 discipline. 0 consequences. The pattern is undeniable. Systematic. Protected. Supervisor notes buried in the file. Hendricks shows concerning pattern with minority drivers but insufficient evidence for discipline. Translation. We know he's racist, but we're not doing anything about it. The FBI expands its investigation. Pattern and practice probe of the entire Fayetteville Police Department. Department of Justice gets involved. North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation opens corruption inquiry. Military Criminal Investigation Division examines the security breach with classified materials. 3 weeks later, A grand jury convenes. Federal courthouse, standing room only, media circus outside. The indictments come down like hammer blows. Garrett Hendricks. Deprivation of rights under color of law. Aggravated assault. False imprisonment. Filing false report. Interference with military operations. Federal charges carry up to 18 years. State charges add another 8. Total potential sentence, 26 years. Tom Mitchell. Civil rights violations. Accessory to assault. Federal and state charges combined, 8 to 12 years. Kyle Brennan. Failure to intervene. Official misconduct. 3 to 5 years. 4 months later, the trial begins. United States versus Garrett Hendricks. Federal courthouse packed beyond capacity. Overflow rooms with video feeds. National media covering every moment. Fiona sits in the front row of the gallery. Full dress blues, Army service uniform with all decorations. Her husband James beside her in navy whites. Retired General Bradford on her other side. The prosecution presents its case methodically, devastatingly. Every video shown to the jury from multiple angles. Body cam, dash cam, 7 civilian cell phones. Each one shows the same story. Fiona steps out in uniform. Hendricks sees her rank, pauses, then proceeds to violate her rights anyway. Audio experts enhance the recordings. Every racist implication made explicit. The contempt in his voice crystal clear. Someone like you. The emphasis undeniable even to the most skeptical juror. GPS data proves Fiona never swerved. Traffic analysis shows her speed was legal, steady, perfect. Drug test results show she's never failed a military screening in 20 years. Expert testimony from a former police chief establishes this was textbook racial profiling. Then the 22 other victims testify, one by one, each describing their encounter with Hendricks. The pattern emerges like a photograph developing. Same language, same accusations, same illegal tactics. He said the exact same thing to me. How does someone like you afford this car? The jury sees it. Systematic racism spanning 15 years, not an isolated incident, a career built on prejudice and protected by institutional indifference. Day 6. Fiona takes the stand. Sworn in, states her full name and rank. The prosecutor guides her through her service record, 20 years, 2 combat tours, wounds received, medals earned, commands held, soldiers led. Colonel Nelson, on the day in question, what were you wearing? My Army combat uniform with my rank clearly displayed on my chest, shoulders, and patrol cap. Photos shown to the jury. The uniform from every angle, silver eagles visible in perfect clarity. No way to miss them, no way to mistake them. Why didn't you immediately tell Officer Hendricks you were a colonel? Fiona looks directly at the jury. I was wearing my uniform. My rank was on my chest. I shouldn't have needed to announce it. But more importantly, I wanted to see if I would be treated with basic dignity, as a citizen, as a human being. My rights don't come from my rank. They come from the Constitution. She pauses, lets that sink in. Every person Officer Hendricks stopped over 15 years deserved the same respect he should have shown me. Whether they were a colonel or a cashier, a general or a grocery store worker, rights aren't conditional on status. Several jurors wipe their eyes. The defense attorney shifts uncomfortably. He knows he's losing. The defense tries to argue error in judgment. No racial intent. Concern about vehicle theft. Didn't see her rank clearly. The prosecutor destroys each argument with video evidence. Frame by frame showing Hendricks staring directly at the Silver Eagles. Audio of his tone dripping with contempt. Statistics showing his 43 complaints with 90% from minorities. Hendricks takes the stand. Worst decision of the trial. The cross-examination is brutal. Officer Hendricks, can you read military rank insignia? Yes. What rank is a Silver Eagle? Colonel. So when you saw Silver Eagles on Colonel Nelson's chest, you knew she was a colonel? I wasn't sure if it was real. So instead of verifying with Fort Bragg, which was 2 miles away, you decided to handcuff her? Silence. How many of your 43 complaints came from white drivers, Officer Hendricks? I don't remember exactly. 4. The answer is 4. The other 39 were people of color. Can you explain that pattern? He can't. No one could. 90 minutes of jury deliberation. They return. The foreman stands, a black woman, school teacher. She looks directly at Hendricks. We find the defendant guilty on all counts. The courtroom erupts. Fiona sits quietly, face neutral. No triumph, no celebration. Just justice. Finally. 2 weeks later, sentencing. Judge Amanda Foster presiding. Federal judge appointed during the Obama administration. Black woman with a reputation for fairness and firm sentences. 4 victim impact statements. The teacher Hendricks stopped in 2019. The businessman he harassed for 2 years. The pastor who watched his community suffer. And Fiona. She stands at the podium, speaks directly to the court. Your Honor, I'm fortunate. I had rank, resources, witnesses, video evidence. Most victims of profiling don't have those advantages. This case isn't about me. It's about every person Officer Hendricks stopped, searched, humiliated over 15 years. It's about the system that protected him despite 43 complaints. It's about sending a clear message. The badge is not a license for racism. I ask the court for the maximum sentence, not for revenge, for justice, and to deter anyone who might follow his path. Judge Foster delivers her ruling. Officer Hendricks, you swore an oath to protect and serve all citizens equally. Instead, you weaponized your badge against those you deemed inferior based solely on their race. You saw Colonel Nelson in uniform and still chose to humiliate her. You accused a decorated war hero of stolen valor. Your actions weren't a mistake. They were a pattern sustained over 15 years and enabled by institutional indifference. This court will not be indifferent. She looks at him directly. 15 years in federal prison. 5 years supervised release. $50,000 fine. Permanent loss of law enforcement certification nationwide. The gavel falls. Courtroom applause. Judge Foster allows it for once. Mitchell gets 6 years. Brennan gets 2. All 3 permanently banned from law enforcement anywhere in America. The Fayetteville Police Department announces sweeping reforms. New chief appointed. New chief. Chief Patricia Taylor. Woman of color. Reform-minded. Progressive record. Mandatory bias training quarterly. Body cameras required for all interactions. Independent civilian review board with subpoena power. Public complaint database searchable online. Duty to intervene policy with real consequences. Partnership with Fort Bragg for joint community policing initiatives. 6 months after sentencing, Fiona settles her civil suit. The city pays $2.5 million. She donates every cent. NAACP Legal Defense Fund, veterans' rights organizations, local youth programs in underserved communities. I don't want their money. I want their change. 1 year later. Fort Bragg Parade Ground. Full military ceremony. 800 soldiers in formation. Dress uniforms gleaming in morning sun. Flags snapping in the breeze. Fiona stands at attention in the center. Her dress blues are immaculate. Every ribbon perfectly aligned. Bronze star. Purple heart. 20 years of service compressed into colored fabric and metal. General Graham approaches. He carries a small blue box. Inside, a single gold star. Brigadier General rank, 1 star. The first step into the General Officer Corps. He removes the silver eagles from her shoulders. 20 years she wore those. Colonel rank earned through blood, sweat, and absolute dedication. Now they're replaced with gold, single stars pinned carefully into place. General Nelson, you've served with distinction in combat and courage at home. You've led soldiers under fire and stood firm under injustice. This nation is fortunate to have you. The formation erupts in applause, 800 voices joining together. Her soldiers, her colleagues, her brothers and sisters in arms. In the front row, her family stands, James in navy dress whites. Their son, now a second lieutenant fresh from West Point. Their daughter, heading to Spelman College in the fall. Pride radiates from all three. General Bradford attends. Master Sergeant Anderson, Captain Cooper, many of the 22 victims from Hendrix's pattern. They came to witness this, to celebrate not just her promotion, but what it represents. Justice, recognition, change. 3 days later, Fiona sits in her new office. The nameplate on the door reads, Brigadier General Fiona Nelson. Inside, her decorations hang on wood panels, her Purple Heart in a shadow box, family photos on the desk, her daughter's acceptance letter to Spelman framed on the wall. A knock. A young black lieutenant enters, hesitant, nervous. Ma'am, I wanted to thank you. I saw what happened last year. The video. Your testimony. It gave me courage to report discrimination in my own unit. They're investigating now. Things are changing. Fiona stands, shakes her hand. That's what this was about, Lieutenant. Creating space for truth. Making it safer to speak up. You did the hard part. You found your voice. The lieutenant leaves. Fiona returns to her desk. Reviews policy recommendations for military justice reform. Her testimony before Congress led to new legislation. Duty to intervene now federal law for all police. Body cam requirements strengthened nationwide. Pattern and practice investigations opened in 12 cities. 38 states passed reforms inspired by her case. Her testimony plays in police academies across the country, not as a success story, as a warning. This is what happens when you let prejudice guide your actions. Where are they now? Garrett Hendrix serves year 2 of his 15-year sentence. Federal prison in Pennsylvania, divorced. His children don't visit. Other inmates know he's ex-cop. That makes prison particularly difficult, dangerous even. He'll likely serve the full sentence. No early release for civil rights violations. Tom Mitchell serves year 2 of 6 years. Lost his house, family struggling. He writes letters apologizing. Fiona doesn't respond. Words mean nothing without action. Kyle Brennan got released after 2 years. He works at a homeless shelter now. Speaks to police academies about the cost of silence. I knew it was wrong. I said something, but not loudly enough, not forcefully enough. That failure cost a good woman her dignity and me my career. Speak up. Always speak up. Fayetteville Police Department transformed. Complaints down 60%. Community trust improving slowly. No racial profiling incidents in 10 months. Chief Taylor earned cautious respect from both officers and residents. The work continues. Change is slow, but it's happening. The 22 victims all received public apologies and civil settlements totaling $8 million. Several became activists. One runs a non-profit teaching citizens their rights during police encounters. The teacher who testified now serves on the Civilian Review Board. Sunday evening, Fiona's home. She cooks dinner with her daughter. James sets the table. Their son visits on leave from his first duty station. Normal family life, normal conversation, laughter, stories, plans for the future. Her daughter asks, "Mom, were you scared that day?" Fiona considers the question. Honest answer. Terrified. But fear and courage aren't opposites. You feel the fear and act anyway. You stand up because it's right, not because it's easy. Her son adds, "I'm proud of you, Mom. You could have let it go." "No, I couldn't. Not for me, and not for everyone who comes after. Every person who gets stopped, every person who gets profiled, every person who gets told they don't belong. I fought for them. She looks at her family, her husband who supported her through everything, her children who watched their mother become a symbol of justice. This is what matters. Not the rank, not the headlines, not the reforms, the people, the relationships, the knowledge that standing up made a difference. If this story moved you, don't just watch and scroll away. Like this video. Share it widely. Someone in your network needs to see this, needs to know their rights, needs to feel less alone. Subscribe for more stories where justice prevails, where courage matters, where wrongs are made right. Comment below. Have you experienced profiling? Have you witnessed injustice and stayed silent? What will you do differently now? Your voice matters. Your story matters. Before you leave, sit with these questions. If Fiona hadn't been a general, would justice have come at all? Should it require rank, medals, viral video, and national outrage for a black woman to be believed? Or should dignity be the starting point for everyone, every time, no exceptions? The law says everyone is equal. Reality says otherwise. Whose job is it to close that gap? Yours, mine, ours. So I'll ask one final time. What are you going to do about it?